Okay, check this out. I'm finishing my hair for work, but I realized that I haven't talked about the finale of The Golden Bachelor. So that's what I'm gonna get into while I finish my hair so I can go to work. Because I look a mess. Okay, so let's just get into it. So I didn't realize that it was gonna be a live because as I may have mentioned before, I've kind of been in and out of the Bachelor Nation. But it was alive, and a lot of the ladies were there. I don't know if Natasha was there. I feel like I didn't see her. But Sandra, I just want to say, I think it's Sandra, Sandra always just looks happy to be here. And I think it's because that meditation, she's just in her zone all the time. Because, like, she just looks so pleasant every time you see Sandra. And I'm just like, hey, girl. Like, she just feels like fresh air. All the women looked amazing. I was happy to see them. Because I didn't know, like, that's how the finale went. I thought we were just gonna have to spend all day with these three people. So it was cool. Anywho, so I'll mention some of them as we go, because some things were very interesting to see with the women in the background. Okay, so anywho, let's just get into it. So for the finale, the women met Gary's family. Because, the last week the week before last, he met theirs. Because then there was the fantasy suite. So they met his family. And they both really hit it off strong with his family, to be honest. And I knew they would. They're both very likable women. They like Teresa because she's just really friendly and excited and happy. She's happy. It's hard not to like Teresa. Which I've said from the beginning that she's really easy to like. And so they liked her. They loved her. And then they met Faith and they really like, not Faith, sorry. Leslie, and they really like Leslie. They were like, she's funny, she makes him laugh. We love to see him laugh like that. Cool. All right. So both of the family meetings were solid. I really couldn't tell anything off of the family meetings alone because I knew they would be solid. I mean, we got down to two women who are pleasant people. Like it wasn't going to be a problem. So, most of the women were pleasant, except Kathy kind of scares me. Okay, so anyway, moving on. So, that was, I expected all of that. But then at the end of both meetings, he had a date with one last date with each woman. Teresa's date, went fine. She's having a good time, but she was straight up and said, having a good time on this date. I really like being around you, duh. But I can't ignore the fact that I'm not the only one, and I don't know what's going to happen. You could walk out of this door and that be the end of it. Like, I just don't know. And I know that you can't tell me. I would love for you to tell me and say, Teresa, it's you. You're the one. But, I know that's not how this works. And he was just like, yeah. And she was like, okay, well, whatever you choose, I love you and I want to be with you. I would be devastated if I'm not. But hey, I want you to be happy. And he was like, that means so much to me. Yeah. So, okay. So that's how that went. And that's what I expected, really. Like, I expected him to be kind of vague, but also, because I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm new to this, but I expected him to be very kind of it to go that way for them to kind of express, hey, I know you can't tell me, but I love you. So that okay. So then we get to Leslie's date after meeting the family, and it was different. His vibe was off, and she knew it. And she finally, said something at the very end of the date. She was like, hey, I just feel like you're off. Like something between us is off. And this was after she gave him like this really cute booklet she made of their relationship. And it was like a little scrapbook, And he was like, wow, I'll cherish this forever. But like he was just not giving the energy that she obviously was used to and was hoping to continue to see. And she was like, I feel like you're off. And he was like, yeah, I don't know. bye. Like, basically, that's how it went. And then he went outside, and you know, Gary, he's gonna cry, which is fine, except, like, golly, this man is stressed out. That's why I don't know how y'all do this show. Like, I would be afraid, like, they're gonna have heart attacks and meltdowns and all kinds of things. But anyway, so he's outside crying and hyperventilating and all this and that. And he's like, when you have been around someone so much and you have a relationship like us, you know when something's off, and I have to be honest with her. So he goes back and he's like, remember how you were like, I feel like you're not telling me something. You're right. Long story short, he told her she wasn't the one. And yikes, boy, did that hurt. Leslie had everybody crying in the club because she just basically broke down and was like, you know, you okay? I feel like everything up to this point has been a lie. And I get it. I know, like, especially you Bachelor professional watchers are probably going to say, but this is the show. This is how it works. He has to, like, he's just trying to figure it out. Okay. And, like, Gary was like, I mean, it wasn't a lie. I was in love with you until I wasn't. I believed it was you until I didn't. I thought I would be with you forever until I decided, oh, no, it's Teresa. And that sucks, bro. Like, I get it to an extent, but at the same time, some things are just so emotional, so, you know, he's just giving this hope, and it's not real. And I just don't know how to, I don't know what to say about that. And I will say, she said something that I absolutely loved, because he was like, well, I don't feel bad. And she was like, no offense, but I'm going to feel how that I want to feel. And I was like, yes, girl, your feelings are valid. Because, no, Gary, like, you're not gonna tell me you love me, tell my family that you can see yourself with me, tell my brother you want his, blessing to be with me, and then turn around and just be like, well, it wasn't you, you know? Like, it is wild. It is truly wild, and I get that it's not all Gary's fault, because this is how the show works, but some of it, I don't know how to feel. So let me backtrack. I don't know if y'all knew, but there was some drama that was kind of revealed right before we got to the finale. Not on the show, but like in tabloids. And it was like, oh, there's this woman who said that she dated Gary. And I don't think that's alleged. I think we know she dated Gary. And she claims that what basically had happened was they were dating apparently not too long after Tony died, which grief is grief, and I'm not going to tell anybody how to mind their business, whatever. Although it's a little weird because Gary made it seem like he had not had an, important relationship since Tony died. But this woman he was apparently living with and they were dating for 3 years. That's kind of important, Gary. But according to her, I don't know if it's true, but according to her, he basically had a reunion to go to. I don't know what kind of reunion. I don't know if it's a school reunion, a family reunion, garage band reunion. I don't know. I may have not been paying attention. But he told her he couldn't take her looking how she was looking. Because apparently my good sis had gained some weight, and that was too much for Gary to handle. I could go on a whole tangent about how I feel about that, but at the end of the day, I just feel like if you love someone, that's just not how you go about things. And if you ever love them, that's just not how you go about things. And there's like all we could say about age and how bodies change, and that's just not how you go about things. You don't be like, well, babe, I can't take you because you look a mess. Like, woo, Gary. But, okay, whatever. So he couldn't take her because he felt she was too fat. Yeah. So then they obviously broke up. Like, I don't know who broke up with who, but I would break up with someone who, you know, I thought loved me. And the way I found out they had a problem with my body was when they realized they couldn't be seen with me. Okay. So they broke up. Whatever. She fell down the stairs apparently in the midst of this transitional period, and so it took her longer to kind of get out of their shared house. And according to her, again, although I think someone said there were text messages that we've seen, I ain't seen them. I wasn't doing all that research, but according to her, he was real rude and was like, "I feel like you're trying to waste my time, and like you're trying to like basically insinuating that like she wasn't that hurt and she's just trying to like prolong this experience." And I'm like, bro, if you ever loved her, that didn't rub me. That made me feel real weird about Gary. But hey, we don't know if it's true. People make a living off of telling lies. But we don't know it's not true because people also aren't always lying. I do think that whoever got the story sat on it until close to finale time to make it seem juicier. Because I can't imagine she waited like this whole time if someone was gonna talk to her, you know what I mean? But whatever. So anyway, that's the tea, allegedly. That's the alleged tea. And I'm coming back to that. You'll see why. Anyway, the point is, he broke Leslie's heart. She was upset. And you can see the women, Leslie had everybody crying in the club. Like I said, the women, from the show were crying. People in the audience were crying because Leslie was so upset. And let me remind you that Leslie has, if nothing else, has been very clear that she is used to men kind of stepping on her heart and not choosing her. And if there's anything she has complimented Gary for this whole time was his integrity and that he seemed real. And that he seemed very sensitive. And I'm just going to say, this did not feel like a very sensitive thing to do. And another thing Leslie kept saying that really made me feel uncomfy about the Garster. She kept saying, what you said to me in that fantasy suite, doesn't track. It doesn't track. And we don't know what he said in the fantasy suite. But she was basically saying that whatever the people saw on TV was nothing compared to what you said in that fantasy suite. That really made me think we had a life together. And like I told you before, what he said on TV was enough. What he said on TV was pretty darn substantial. Like, I thought they had a life together too. So if he was saying even more in that suite, ooh, Gary, that feels wrong. That feels, ain't enough indecisiveness in the world. I want to know what he was saying. And I feel like he was with both of them in that fantasy suite, which y'all can have your opinions if you want, but knowing, you know what? I won't even get into it because I'm going to get mad. But I just feel like he was sweet talking extra. And for him to be like, I knew until I didn't know. Until I knew. Like, Especially, you know what? Don't worry about it. The point is, it made me feel weird. And you can see the other women's reactions, and it clearly made them feel weird too. You remember how I said that Joan looked like she just missed out, like she missed her chance? She didn't really look like that anymore. She kind of looked like, okay. I feel like she almost had some solitude and going, I don't think this was for me. And Nancy kept side-eyeing. I feel like Nancy was like, this boy is a liar. This boy is a liar. That was the vibe I was getting. I don't know if that's what she was throwing out, but that's how it felt. And then, like I said, Sandra just be chilling. But the head shaking and the Faith and Evelyn both kind of had this look on their face like, dirty dog. Because, and like I will always stand by this opinion, Faith and Evelyn, I don't know how you get down to the bottom 4 and not slash tires afterwards. Because at this point, and I don't know if all the other bachelors should do this, let me know, bachelors and bachelorettes, because I feel like from Evelyn down, each one of them was getting like this strong, we could have a family type conversation. He was telling Evelyn, you remind me of my wife. I could see us have a life together. Oh, and Joan too. But Joan left, so it kind of didn't get too deep. But it was weird. Not weird. It was strong. And anyway. But like Evelyn, I could see you in my life and wake up together, and you remind me of my wife. And he gave her that darn picture of them, and of when they did the photo shoot and they look like they're getting married. I maintain that is one of the worst gifts I could imagine. Don't give me that unless I won. Please don't give me that. That's crazy. whatever. I'll save it for another day. But but like he was very that with Evelyn, and he didn't pick her, which to me still feels odd that Evelyn got voted off so early when at that point he had not seemingly made a connection with Leslie. It seems like the connection he made with Leslie was very fast because remember Leslie's whole concern was that they had not had time to connect. And then suddenly this person he's telling that he can see himself with and wake up in the morning with and you remind me of my wife blah 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 is off and Leslie's still here. I still don't understand how that happened. Whatever. So then we got my good sis Faith. Here's my opinion on my good sis Faith. And I say it because both Evelyn and Faith were the most recent until we got down to the bottom two to get eliminated. Faith, who by the way is still hurt, like she said that and she looked hurt, like, and irritated, and I swear they were both giving you dirty dog, but like, I don't know. But anyway, you're telling her family that you love her. Like, it was such a cute darn moment. And for what? Are you going to say it? I can say it. I love you. And I do think what that one kind of boiled down to was that he didn't want to move. And she's got a job. I mean, she's a radio host there and she's got her horses, I think that's what it kind of boiled down to. So, okay. But, Gary, I feel like if you were really, like, whatever. I'm not going to make your life decisions for you, but I feel like that may have been what it boiled down to. But again, those deep things you're saying and those strong feelings we're giving, I don't know, man. Also, I have another theory about Faith, and I'm going to just say it. I could be wrong. Y'all can attack me in the comments, but if Homegirl, his ex, was telling the truth about him dumping her because she gained weight, and I don't know how much weight she gained. I don't really care. The point is, if that was why, I feel like Faith was the thicker of the three, and she's not a big girl, and if she was, so what? But she wasn't. But she's thick, like, whereas the other two are very, very thin, very tiny. They all have beautiful bodies. The point is, I wonder if I think her thighs intimidated him. I think he can't handle a thick queen. I said what I said. Okay, moving on. So, then we get to Teresa and Leslie. I just feel like in the last two episodes, and also, apparently whatever he said in the fantasy suite, I would be pissed off if I was Leslie. Especially because she's just been so open about not wanting to get just strung along. And I get that he had to date both of them and figure out which one he wanted, but I don't know, y'all. I feel some type of way. You tell me, how do you feel? Do you feel Gary handled this the best way he could? Or do you feel like something could have been a little better? Because I don't have the answer for it. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you got to get down to the bottom too. And what I will say he did well, and what Leslie even said was good, is that he did not make her get in a dress and walk down and be like, oh, guess I'm not getting married, because that's awful. So I do think that's good. But something's rubbing me the wrong way, and it's more so than just her not getting picked. It's something about the way it's the way it happened that's rubbing me the wrong way. But maybe I'm thinking too much. Y'all let me know. And especially if you're like a Bachelor aficionado, like maybe this happens all the time, and you just need to have thicker skin to be in it. I don't know, but something just kind of in the heart, But I'm happy for Teresa. Teresa's a really nice woman, and I think he does love her. But I told you last time that I felt a little uncomfortable with his attitude towards Teresa too, because she's been talking to him. I thought they had a good connection, but suddenly, like, this is the first time, like, in the fantasy suite that he even knew what she did for work. And there was something else I can't remember, but that Teresa said, and he was like, whoa, I didn't know that, or how did you know that? And she was like, I listened, or we've already talked about this. And I feel like he genuinely wasn't really listening to her before, and I did not love that. I didn't. Something really, I don't know, because I really want to like Gary, but the fantasy suite and this really started making me feel a little iffy. But hey, that's the show. It's over. He and Teresa are getting married. A date has already been set. How do you all feel? How do you feel about how it went down? Do you feel like there was a better way he could have handled things with Leslie, or is that just how the cookie crumbles? And what do you think? What do you think of the finale? What do you think of the whole season? I want to know, because I don't know anymore how I feel. And I don't know if I'm gonna watch the next season of The Bachelor, because like I said, this show stresses me out. I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how the contestants or the Bachelor / Bachelorette handle it, because whoo child, I couldn't. I could not. I would just be in a ball crying all the time. They would get rid of me immediately. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the finale. This video was a little longer because I had more thoughts. Engage with me. I really want to know, because I have some deep feelings and I need someone to help me sort them out. Okay, bye guys. See you later. My hair's still not done. I'm gonna put a scarf on.